everyone, Scrivener here. Welcome to day 5 of Vlogmas. For some of you, this time of year means the end of school. And what are you supposed to do with all that free time on your hands? I often find a new show to consume me, even though I really don't need that in my life. For example, instead of preparing for Vlogmas, I started watching The Good Wife, which has 6 seasons and over 150 episodes. So against my better judgment, here are 5 shows I discovered this year that I think more people should know about. The Awesomes is an animated show for adults that's only available on Hulu. It's produced by Seth Meyers of SNL and Late Night with Seth Meyers, and he also voices the main character, which looks exactly like him. This is basically a show where SNL cast members get to be superheroes. Bill Hader is the main villain, Amy Poehler, Will Forte, and Maya Rudolph all show up in the 2nd season. Kenan Thompson, Taran Killam, and Rashida Jones are all part of the main cast. And you'll probably recognize some voices from Bob's Burgers throughout the series. It's a weird show, and there are some crude and dark jokes. But unlike a lot of adult animated TV shows, the majority of these jokes are not done to make fun of marginalized groups or to be mean-spirited. It's definitely not something that everybody would enjoy, but I really like it. And if you need another reason to watch, there is an episode in the 3rd season where they make fun of Les Mis. And you don't even have to see Les Mis to understand that they are making fun of Les Mis. Case in point. Moving on, Couple-ish is a YouTube series that stars non-binary actor Caitlin Alexander as Dee Warson, who I included on my fictional crushes list. You might also recognize them from the YouTube series Carmilla. Couple-ish is a fun little story about tricking the Canadian government. And we see some gender and sexual identities in this show that don't usually get representation, so that's really awesome. And they are coming back for a 2nd season, so I am very excited. If you like a little more murder in your YouTube series, then you'll probably like Poe Party, which is put on by Shipwrecked Comedy. The full name of the series is Edgar Allan Poe's Murder Mystery Dinner Party, and I'm actually not sure that that is the longest name for it. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Edgar Allan Poe invites a bunch of his author friends. Well, okay, he doesn't really have friends, but that's not the point. He invites a bunch of acclaimed authors, including his beloved Annabelle Lee, to his house for a murder mystery dinner party, and then one by one they are killed off. It's a lot of fun, especially if you love literature. And if you've watched Lizzie Bennet Diaries or Star Kid Productions, you're bound to see a few familiar faces. I think this might be one of my favorite portrayals of Ernest Hemingway ever. Something a tad more mainstream, Luke Cage. I'm not saying that most people haven't heard of Luke Cage or that it wasn't very popular, but it was just so freaking good. Dang. Daredevil is way too graphic for me. I've seen all of Jessica Jones, but by God, it is psychologically exhausting. And then Marvel Netflix brought us Luke Cage. You did good, Marvel Netflix. Now if you could just hire an Asian American actor to play Iron Fist. I know it's too late. Luke Cage has an engaging story, really interesting characters, very few white people, and fantastic music. And the cinematography is so good, it deserved its own sentence. The way the camera moves is so creative. There are scenes where we didn't need a visually interesting orientation or angle, but we get one nonetheless. It's used as a way to tell the story rather than just the medium by which it travels. I found myself looking forward to coming home from work or finishing a task so that I could watch more of it. And finally, Speechless, which is an ABC show, so you can either watch it on their website or on Hulu. The show revolves around a family of 5, and the oldest child, JJ, has cerebral palsy, uses a wheelchair, and uses a board or aid to communicate. There's actually not a character on the show that I don't find interesting in some way. JJ is played by Micah Fowler, who actually does have cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair, but he is not nonverbal. Still, it's nice that the show is actually employing a disabled actor to play a disabled character. I know that it's not going to fit the representational needs for every single person with a disability, and that's good, honestly. There shouldn't just be one narrative about disability that people should have to identify with, but I do think it does good work. It addresses ableism and does a really great job of making sure that JJ is not just a plot device for other characters to be inspired by and to grow because of. Like, JJ is seen as a normal teen boy, not in spite of his disability, but just because he's a teen boy with a disability. And that's really cool because a lot of narratives about disability usually act as a metaphor for overcoming hardship or being inspirational. And that's not what JJ is. They address that in the very first episode. And I hope that by supporting this show, we can push for even more representation. Thank you for watching. I do actually have more TV shows I would recommend to you guys, or even just talking about my personal favorite TV shows If that is something you guys are interested in, please let me know in the comments. Like this video if you think you might watch one of the shows I mentioned, and subscribe to The Princess and the Scrivener to keep your December days full of videos. The princess will see you tomorrow. For some of you, this time means the end of the schooling, yes, the school.